Welcome back, everyone. Israel catching a lot of heat for assassinating the top Hamas leader this past week. But should they actually be praised for making our lives and stocks safer? It's time to go head-to-head. Hussein Ibish joins us right now. He says no way. Hussein is the communications director with the American Arab Anti-Discrimination Committee. He joins us from our nation's capital. Hussein, always a pleasure.
Great to be with you, Neil.
All right, I say, my friend, this guy's no friend. He was a terrorist. He killed people. He approved of the killing of people in discotheques and shopping centers, in hotels, at bus stops. He was a murderer.
Yeah, well, look, first of all, as you know, I've been very critical of Hamas and Ahmed Yassin and the tactic of suicide bombing that I find reprehensible. But I think assassinating political leaders, murdering people, is unacceptable. I think if Palestinians were to assassinate Ariel Sharon, who has even more blood on his hands, much more than Ahmed Yassin has managed to accumulate, that wouldn't help anything. That would certainly throw fuel on the fire. This clearly
throwed fuel on the fire. But there is a difference, is there not, Hussein, between a leader of a country trying to defend his people and a leader of a group that's trying to kill those same people?
No, in fact, if you look at what's happened over the past 3 years, 3,000 Palestinians, most of them unarmed civilians, have been killed by the Israeli military. About 800 Israelis, most of them unarmed civilians, have been killed by Palestinian groups, especially extremist groups. About 300 of those linked directly to Hamas. So what you're looking at is a conflict characterized mainly by murder on both sides. Now, upping the ante
do you approve of Hamas as a group with its edict to wipe out Israel as it exists?
No. Look, Hamas is a fundamentalist organization. I'm a secularist. I don't really agree with their political orientation, but Hamas is part of the Palestinian national movement, and the aims of the Palestinian national movement are legitimate. They want to free themselves from 35 years of Israeli occupation and create an independent state in the occupied territories. And that's a legitimate goal, and that embodies the legitimate interests of millions of people.
Do you overstep your bounds then when you approve or a leader approves of the killing of innocents at bus stops and locations around the country?
Oh, of course. And it's been, by the way, since February 2000 and 2001 that I've been saying that, suicide bombing ought to stop, that it's a reprehensible tactic. And I think Israel's behavior has also been absolutely reprehensible.
This guy had been warned.
I don't think whacking Ariel Sharon is going to help anything.
And he didn't.
Well, I wish that both Israel and the Palestinian groups would choose different tactics, but I don't think going after political leaders, murdering them as they're leaving prayers in the morning, rocketing them, is an appropriate tactic.
Come on, you don't find it odd that this guy's leaving prayers? He's leaving prayers after he just approved killing innocents. I think the hypocrisy doesn't end.
Look,
Hussein, all I'm saying is the markets, everyday people get a clear message when we get tough on terror. And sometimes the only way to treat a monster is to kill the monster.
And that's what Palestinians say about Ariel Sharon and the Israeli military as well. And in fact, some people go further than that. But let me tell you what would be good for our stock market. What would be good for our stock market is when Israel takes its tens of thousands of heavily armed troops and hundreds of thousands of settlers back to its own country and leaves the Palestinians to live in peace, to create their own state, and so that the mainstream movement can control groups like Hamas, which can become political parties.
I think they'd welcome doing that. If
That's what's going to be good for our stock market.
If their people could be protected, if they wouldn't be killed and maimed at bus stops and discotheques and hotels. And I think Israel would freely allow it if you
they've never been willing to seriously discuss allowing the Palestinians to be completely independent in the whole of the occupied territories, and that's what's been on the table since 1967. No Israeli government has ever been willing to do that.
They just bequeathed that in a deal that fell through. But Hussein, it's neither here nor there.
That's completely untrue. In fact, the Israelis hold all the cards here. If they would end their occupation, the war would be over.
All right, we shall see. But always good having you on, Hussein, to argue it rationally. Appreciate it. Hussein Ibish.
Anytime.
All right, up next, how former President Jimmy Carter just guaranteed a new bull market and how France just guaranteed a big rally for one of the world's most widely held stocks. We'll explain when we go on the spot. But first, here's David Hazen. What's ahead on Forbes on Fox?